So this is a scenario here where they tell us that from the top of a 20-meter high building, a surveyor, and it doesn't matter if it's a surveyor, there's somebody there, okay, there's a person there who measured the angle of elevation of the top of another building and the angle of depression of the base of that building. Now this is something that students have trouble with, is the difference between angle of elevation and angle of depression. Okay, and they don't always know what they mean. So if you see the words elevation,
Going up.
okay, it means going up for one thing. Okay, now elevation, if you're given an angle of elevation, what it means is that your triangle is facing like this, that your 90 degrees is on the bottom, and that the angle we're looking at is down here at the bottom going up. Okay, that's what elevation means. So whenever you see the word angle of elevation, you draw a triangle with its base flat on the bottom, and the angle is the angle down at the bottom going up. Now, angle of depression means down. Now, what I see students do incorrectly with depression a lot is they just draw this same triangle, but they put the angle up here. That's not how angle of depression works. Okay? Angle of depression means that your triangle is actually upside down. And the angle of depression is this angle at the top pointing down. Okay, so as soon as it says the words angle of depression in a problem, you should know you're going to have to draw an upside down triangle. Okay, so you draw the upside down triangle right away. And sometimes the problem's worded funny. Like there's one on the assignment, I can't remember exactly what it is, but something like there's a cat in a tree and the angle of depression from the cat down to this place, whatever, is 15 or whatever. So you have to draw this weird upside down triangle. Most students draw it the other way, then they get the question wrong. So please draw your triangles correctly. Okay, so is everyone okay with this? Whenever you see elevation, you draw your triangle like the normal way to draw a triangle. If you see depression, you draw it upside down. Okay, and the depression angle is the one at the top. So in this situation, they did give us, I was just hoping I could just move that. Maybe I can't. Okay, well, I'll just put a, ooh, not an arrow. That's not what I want. I want a rectangle. Nope, still arrows. Well. Aha. There we go. It's all arrows all the time. Okay, so here they give us the drawing, which is really nice. So we don't have to mess with it ourselves. But if they told you otherwise, they could have just described it. They could have said, like, the angle of elevation from one building to the other is 30, and the angle of depression from one building to the other is 20. And then you, or whatever, 15 in this case. And then you would have to know that elevation is drawn up and depression is drawn down. So
how would you know how big each triangle is?
They would tell you in the question. Okay, so it would tell you the degrees. Hello? Yep. Oh, sure. Bye. Payson, they want to speak to you in the main office there. Miss Stewart wants to talk. Here we have a situation where it's 30 degrees and 15. So they'd always give you those numbers. They'd tell you elevation's 30, depression's 15, or whatever the numbers are. So really what's happening here is we have a short building and a tall building. And someone's standing on the short building. They look up at the tall building, and there's an angle. Like the angle that they would have to look. And then they look down at the bottom of the tall building, and there's another angle. Okay, that's what we're seeing here. Okay, they also know that this building here is 20, okay, and they want us to figure out how tall is the other building. So they could have instead of giving you the 20, they could have told you how far apart they were or something. They could have done that instead, okay, but the situation's still the same. So we have these two triangles. When they give me a drawing with buildings and stuff in it, I kind of just like to draw the triangles out separately because I don't like all that other nonsense. personally, but that's me. Okay, so I'd put that there, and I'd say, okay, this is 30, this is 15, and where does the 20 go?
I can't see.
On the
I
bottom,
don't know.
like the.
Well, if you had your notes in front of you, you'd be able to see, because it's in there. I gave you a package, right? Okay, I would look at it. Okay, this is 20 right here, so the short building's 20.
Oh,
It'd be on the
wait,
bottom.
it would be like
Yeah.
right against the building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this part here is 20. And they want to know how tall the whole building is. So they want to know how tall is it from top to bottom. Okay, that's what they want to know. So we can figure that out. Actually, we can figure it out pretty easily because we are given quite a bit of information. Now we need to figure out something first, because what I really need here, right, my end goal, I need to figure out this side here. But I only have one piece of information in that triangle. I only have the 30 degrees. So I'm going to need another piece of information.
Find the adjacent.
I can find that adjacent side. So I can find this side here. Okay, if I find that side there between the 30 and the 15 degrees, I'll call it Y. If I find that side, then I'll be able to use it to find the side I want. Okay, so I have in my lower triangle, I'll just draw it out again. I have 20, I have 15, and I want Y. So what will I use?
Opposite over adjacent.
Opposite over adjacent. So I label my triangles, so I have O and A, and I just use opposite over adjacent, so I have tan 15 is 20 over Y,
Divide.
and I divide. So I'll just divide, I'll just do it here. 20 divided by tan 15 is 74.6. Okay, so this middle number is 74.6. Okay, and of course, it's not 74.6 exactly, it's 74.641 blah blah blah, and I will use that whole thing in the rest of my calculations, even if I don't write it down. Okay, that's really important. So then we have that, now we have that new side, so I can start fresh here.
The same would be opposite over adjacent.
Yeah, it would still be opposite and adjacent, so we would still be using tan. So if I look at the other triangle, it's bigger a bit. It has a 30 degree. This is that 74.6 number, but remember it goes on. It's not just 74.6. And I want to find x. So if I label it opposite and adjacent, I'm using tan again. So I have tan 30 equals x over 74.6. So now what do I have to do?
Multiply.
Times 74.6 times 10.
Yeah, times tan 30. And I just do it on my calculator, I get 43.1. Okay, so what I would see here a lot of the time, I'd say like really commonly, the problem that we end up with here is that students feel like they're done. They're like, I did it, I got 2 numbers already, I've done so much work, I aced it, and they're done. But set 43.1 is not the height of the building. Okay, remember, just keep in mind what you're being asked for.
Pythagorean theorem.
We don't need to do Pythagorean theorem, so that 43.1, yep, that's right, we just have to add them. That 43.1 goes
Oh,
right
never mind, never mind.
here.
I thought it was the plan. I thought.
That's okay. So keep in mind, really try to keep track of what you're finding all the time, and what you have found. So update your original diagram is probably the easiest way to do it. If you draw a diagram, once you get a number, fill it into that diagram so that you're always clear on what you found and what you haven't found. Okay, so that 43.1 is this piece. The whole building is the entire height. So just like somebody said, I just have to add them up. So what would I add to 43.1?
20.
20. So my answer, 63.1, and it's meters. So I have 63.1 meters, and it wants to the nearest tenth, so I've done it. Okay, so that's the height of the building, and especially in a question like this that has lots of work in it, okay, there's lots of different steps. please identify for me which number is your actual answer. Okay, I really want that so that I know that I'm not looking at it thinking, is it 43? Is it 63? Is it 20? Is it 74? What is it? Okay, so this type of question, like I said, I guarantee that it will be on the test. Like, for sure it will be on the test. I know it's Thursday, so the class is over at a weird time. Does anyone happen to know?
I have to schedule my bed.
I feel like it's going to be over before we get to the schedule in the bay. But, so I think we only have like 2 minutes, but let me check. Yeah, okay, we're done in 2 minutes, so pack up. Tomorrow you'll get the unit assignment.